The Night Witch is the latest game from the developers of Rise and Shine. It delivers a very beautiful take on Metroidvania, bullet hell, and deck building. And while it may not, I think, fire on all cylinders, this is still an interesting game to check out. The Night Witch follows the story of Rain here, who, on the 10-year anniversary of her people defeating an evil empire, they have returned. And the heroes known as the Night Witches are nowhere to be found, and it's going to be up to her to try to save the day and learn a whole lot of dark truths about the people and civilization she's been a part of. So as I said in the singer, this is a game that combines Metroidvania, bullet hell, and deck building. As you explore the game's major areas, you'll find upgrades that will give you several new abilities which will be used for either moving around or solving some of the puzzles. The bullet hell, well, as you've probably seen by now, comes with the myriad of bullets being shot at you from normal enemies, boss fights, and ambushes. Now, your cards in the bottom right form a spell deck that you will get new cards via buying, trading, or just finding them in the world. Collecting mana will allow you to spend them, and this becomes more and more important as you get further in, as cards will enable you to do such things as regain your armor, change your weapon properties, and even destroy enemy bullets. And it is definitely one of the major aspects of trying to survive this game. Now, an interesting aspect of the progression is that you'll hunt for people to rescue in each area. This will increase your link level, which will allow you to upgrade either your knight or gun powers, or your witch/magic powers, respectively. This is important because you will eventually have to get them fully leveled up if you want to stand a chance against some of the game's harder challenges. So the game itself is mostly linear. While there are side areas and bonus things to find, on your first path through each level, you're not going to be able to do a whole lot until you can come back with some of the game's additional abilities. While you can get some pretty cool stuff, such as completing some of the game's bonus challenges, you are going to have to rely on your links to basically do the heavy lifting. Now, one thing that I do like about the story of this game is that it has a kind of a side plot about the toxicity of fame and how it can corrupt someone, and the challenges of dealing with being in the public light and trying to tell the truth. And I won't spoil too much of the story here, but it definitely goes some places you may not be expecting. And there are hidden lore items and notes that go even more into this. Now, all in all, the gameplay certainly works. Controlling Rain is very responsive. The gunplay is going to take a little bit of getting used to, but there are a variety of ways of playing it. However, while I would say first 70 to 75% of the game certainly feels on the fairer side, it's the final quarter, when the game really starts to push back hard, that you're going to start to run some of the issues with how these three systems are being combined. And we're going to talk about that next, but first I want to take a quick break. And if you are interested in my thoughts on design, then check out my game design books. For entry-level students, we have 20 Essential Games to Study, and then the Game Design Deep Dive series that takes an extensive look at different genres, with more coming soon. With the Night Witch, the difficulty of the game definitely grows as you get further in. Part of the challenge is that this is definitely more bullet hell than it is Metroidvania. Outside of the links, you really don't gain much in terms of stats. Your spell cards, again, are tied to your mana, so you can't be using them all the time. And I'll come back to that point in a second. But as you get further in, more and more enemies and patterns get out of control in terms of the sheer number of bullets that are coming at you. Unlike other shmup/bullet hells, Rain's entire body is a hitbox, which means that it can become very hard and sometimes arguably near impossible to dodge some of the bullets that are coming your way. So part of this is about using your spell cards, specifically the ones that provide bullet destruction or blocking them in order to survive, but this comes with another issue. When you construct your deck, you are putting the cards in, and as you level up your magic side, you'll gain a larger deck. but the game will randomly choose 3 cards to show on the bottom right. So if it chooses 3 cards that you don't have enough mana to use at the moment, or 3 cards that just aren't helpful at hand, there's not much that you can do about other than kind of force to use the cards and waste mana, unless you have a 0 cost card, to hopefully get that reroll. Now, if this was a game where you could pause or slow things down while you're matching your cards, it wouldn't be such a big deal, but no. This is a game where you're going to be dodging dozens and dozens of bullets while dashing, and also having to pay attention to the UI in the bottom right to make sure that you're choosing the right card and that you have the right mana for it. And it comes off as being a little bit unwieldy. Now, I was playing the game with keyboard and mouse as I found aiming to be easier that way, but even with a gamepad, I can see some people struggling with trying to input these buttons while doing everything else that's going on. And this certainly becomes a point when you get to the game's true final boss, which, trust me, it is an annoying fight. And you really can't stand a chance unless you are fully upgraded for it. And doing that also leads to some of the more frustrating kind of pain points of the Metroidvania design. The game definitely needs more fast travel points. There is only 1 fast travel in each major area, and you're going to spend a lot of time flying from room to room trying to get to a secret that you missed or trying to remember where something was. There are a few areas in this game where there aren't any fast travels, so good luck getting back to them in any reasonable time. And I do feel that the game could have done a better job of giving with, I think, a little bit more tools. The only kind of major weapon unlock you get is a giant sword near the end of the game, and it does allow you to deflect bullets, but it's so slow to use that it's just very impractical given the pace of the game itself. And ultimately, while I did like the Night Witch, I do wish that these systems were, I think, better integrated together, such as having more Metroidvania unlocks and more ways of, I think, finagling or building a deck. My biggest suggestion to you if you're struggling with this game is that the cannon shot, the one that pierces through enemies that you've seen in this video, is one of the best weapons to get. And there are cards that allow you to gain mana and also reload your gun. And as long as you keep that gun on, you can really pierce through a lot of the enemies. So with everything said, if you're looking for like a very well executed, like all around Metroidvania, the Night Witch comes close to that. I think this is a really great concept to build off of, and I would love to see developers come back at this in a sequel or DLC and kind of expand and improve upon these systems. And if you are a fan of Rise and Shine, especially for its amazing aesthetic, then this game has some beautiful art, especially in some of the later areas, in terms of sheer variety. So with that said, I'd like to thank the developers for giving me a press key to check this one out. Be sure to do the liking, subscribing, and commenting. Check out our Discord and Patreon link down below. If you'd like me to tailor your game for a future piece, please reach out. Come back for daily sessions on game design here and on Game Wisdom, where we examine the art and science of games.